Hello everyone. My name is Pratiksha Shinde. The topic of my presentation is security services in a cryptography and a network security. Now I will explain the content that I am going to cover in my presentation. Let's see. First one is what is a security services. Next is a security services. Third one is why security services are important. And last one is an example of security services. What is a security services? Security services in a cryptography and a network security are a major that protect information system and network from unauthorized access, damage or a disclosure. These services ensure the confidentiality, integrity and availability of a data. Cryptography is a branch of mathematics provide the tools for implementing these security services. Initially, they are a mechanism or a processes used to protect information systems from various security risks. Here, you can see the flow chart. From this flow chart, I am going to explain integrity, confidentiality, authentication, and non-reputation. First one is the authentication. Authentication is the mechanism to identify the user or system or the entity. It ensures the identify of the person trying to access the information. Authentication is how a system makes sure a person is a real and allowed to use it. The authentication is a mostly secure by using the username and password. Usually it does this by asking for a username and password. The authorized person whose identity is a pre-registered can prove identity can access the sensitive information. If the person is already known to the system, they can prove who they are and get access to private or sensitive information. Authentication helps protect the system by allowing only the right people to get it. Next is the confidentiality. The degree of confidentiality determines the security of the information. The principle specify that only the sender and receiver will be able to access the information shared between them. Confidentiality compresses if any unauthorized person is able to access the message. For example, let us consider sender A wants to share some confidential information with the receiver B, and the information gets intercepted by the attacker C. Now, the confidential information is the hands on the interrupter C. Third one is the integrity. Integrity gives the assurance that the information received is exact and accurate. Integrity, which means the making sure the information or data is correct, complete, and has not been changed without a permission. If the content of the message is changed after the sender sent it but before reaching the intended receiver, then it is said that the integrity of the message is lost. There are two types of integrity: system integrity and data integrity. First one is the system integrity. System integrity means the computer system or software is working as it is supposed to without being broken, changed, etc. Next one is the data integrity. Data integrity, which means the information is correct and not changed in the wrong way. The data should be complete, accurate, not changed by hacker. Fourth one is a non-reputation. Non-reputation is a mechanism that prevents the denial of the message cannot send through a network. In some cases, the sender sends the message and later denies it. But the non-reputation does not allow the sender to refuse the receiver. Non-reputation means you cannot deny that you sent or received a message. For example, you send money using a mobile app. The app keeps a record with your name, time, and amount. Later, you cannot say, I don't send it because the app has a proof. That is called a non reputation. Next one is the access control. The principle of access control is determined by role management and rule management. Access control means deciding who can see or use certain data or information. Role management determines who should access the data, while rule management determines up to what extent one can access the data. First one is the role management. These decide which person or group is allowed to access the data. Example, a teacher can see student marks, but a student cannot see other student marks. Next one is the rule management. These control how much information that person is allowed to see or use. For example, a teacher can only see marks for their one class, not the whole school. The information displayed the dependent on the person who is access it. Next one is the availability. The principle of availability state the resource will be available to authorized party at all times. Information will not be useful if it is not available to the accessor. System should have a sufficient availability of information to satisfy the user request. Availability, which means the information and system are always ready to use when needed. Information must be available to the right people at all times. Now see why security services are important. First one is a reduce cyber attacks. Security services help prevent a wide range of cyber attacks, including unauthorized access, by ensuring communication and data. Reduce cyber attacks, which means security services help stop online attacks like hackers. They protect your message and data from being changed. Next one is protect sensitive information. They safeguard confidential and personal data from breaches, misuse, and unauthorized access. They keep private or a personal data safe. The stop others from saying or misusing your information without permission. Next is ensure data availability. By preventing attacks and data, corporations, security services ensure that critical information remains accessible to authorized user when needed. They make sure your important data is always ready when you need it. Build a trust. A strong community to data security helps organization build trust with the customer, partners, and employees. Next one is enable secure communication. Security services provide encrypted and secure communication channels, protecting the confidentiality and integrity of transmitted information. Example of security services. A simple real world example of security services is using a password manager to securely store and manage your online password. Thank you.